Welcome to Blissfully Aging. I'm your host, Chris Stewart of Advanced Home Care Solutions. I'll be hosting this 7-episode mini-series in which we'll be visiting with older adults who are living life to the fullest. We'll be exploring the ways that these folks are engaged in these diverse pursuits and finding out what keeps them involved. We'll be talking with seniors who are healers, swimmers, runners, entrepreneurs, performers, and artists. The purpose of this mini-series is to show others that it's never too late to take up activities. We'll see how they've moved away from the stereotypes generally associated with growing older. These folks know that staying active and engaged is one of the many keys to longevity. So let's visit with them and see what inspiring adventures they have to share with us. Welcome to Blissfully Aging's episode on Seniorpreneurs. That means older adults who have started or are involved in their own businesses. We're going to be talking with a couple of folks who have started their own businesses later in life. We're actually filming today in front of Community Futures. This is a federally funded organization which provides entrepreneurs assistance with starting a business, as well as helping them with the finer points of starting a business. Across the hall from us is the Women's Enterprise Society. They provide coaching and financial support for women who want to start their own businesses or simply get advice along the entrepreneurial pathway. Our first guest is Jim Ripley. Jim is the founder and owner of Turtle Tanks, which he established in the late 80s. Since then, Jim has been a serial entrepreneur. He's been in the Okanagan Valley establishing businesses for over 40 years. His businesses focus on solutions for sustainable growth and development. He's a hands-on owner, and he also enjoys being a guest speaker at business events and colleges. Our second guest is Fran Houston. She's the founder and owner of Fran's Moving Solutions. She established this company 6 years ago when she saw a need to give seniors more support with making decisions about rehousing. So she helps seniors and their families with downsizing decisions. She arranges for the moves. She also helps them unpack at the other end. Her psychology degree enables her to facilitate and support the whole family in this process. Let's go visit with these folks. Find out what makes them stay so enthused. I've asked Jim Ripley here today to have tea with me and talk about all of the businesses that he's started. So Jim, can you tell me what your main business is?
Well, my main business is a company called Turtle Tanks. It's a company that manufactures tanks for a variety of purposes, water and septic, and that's my main enterprise. And then I have a number of businesses that are related to that main enterprise.
So what are some of these other businesses that you have, if you can tell us?
Well, in the tank business or the septic system business, there's a part of the system, a septic field. And a number of years ago, back in 2007, we found that we could use chipped styrofoam as a substitute for standard drain rock. So we developed poly rock in 2007, and have used that as an alternate for drain rock. And another enterprise is the Enviromix concrete mixer. It's a purpose-built concrete mixer designed to make concrete for the turtle tank septic system.
Okay. I know that you have some other businesses as well, and it seems to me that you have businesses that are ongoing and then you add more and more to this. Now that's really interesting because many older adults are actually starting to wind down their business activities, not start more businesses. So I find that quite fascinating. So what gets you engaged in starting some of these new businesses? How does the process happen?
Well, there's nothing more exciting than the startup.
Okay.
The startup, entrepreneur comes from risk taker.
Okay.
And, certainly when you have an idea that can augment your current business,
right,
that can be a standalone, it is exciting to get it structured, to get it, design the website for it, take a look at all the things that it can do to augment the current business. So there's just something about the startup that's extremely exciting, makes you want to get out of bed a little bit earlier.
So are you remaining excited about all of these businesses even when they reach a more mature stage? What keeps you passionate and charged ahead and wanting to keep on with these businesses?
Well, it certainly makes you feel young.
Oh, okay.
Is I guess one of the secrets. And the level of mental activity is great.
Okay.
And then of course you get all the ideas you want, but somewhere along the line you actually have to do something.
Right.
So at some point you go out and you're active from going out working on the new thing. There's always new people to meet. There's always the physical side of it that might be developing some machinery, and there's welding and cutting and torching.
Oh. Well, that's pretty fascinating. So what would you be doing today if you were only involved in one business? What would your life look like? So just take perhaps turtle tanks as a solo enterprise. What would your life look like without all of these other businesses involved?
Well, turtle tanks being a 25-year-old enterprise, having operations on the East Coast and West Coast, that business is always doing something that's kind of far away.
Oh, okay.
So we have a maritime operation with a joint venture with a nice Casey Group family there. There's expansion into the States. There's future international expansion. So Turtle Tanks, which is also a franchise, and the BC business was sold a few years ago. So my day-to-day operational stuff in BC is certainly minimal. I have a very great franchisee doing a great job. So all the work on my main enterprise is done far away. So it's on the phone, it's on internet, discussing across Canada or into the States.
Well, it's got to be incredibly satisfying. I really think a lot of the fact that you've got all of these businesses, but especially this big one that you just manage so well. What would you be doing right now if you weren't involved in business enterprise? What would your life look like?
Well, I think I'm an educator, and I got a teaching degree back in '81. Had the interesting thing of graduating from a West Kelowna high school and then teaching there.
Oh,
10 years later,
interesting.
with a lot of my old teachers, which was pretty great. We had lots of ideas sitting around the teachers' coffee room, which we actually, my old mechanics teacher that was still there, we'd come up with ideas, and he'd be building prototypes to try them out, which is pretty great.
Sounds like you had some good early mentors, and this is perhaps what gave you an early appetite for starting some businesses up. Could that be the case?
I think I've been very fortunate with mentors, and sometimes they're not called mentors, but they're, for example, the Gorman Brothers sawmill gave me great jobs through high school, through college, etc. a lot of those opportunities aren't available today to young entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And I certainly enjoy any chance to talk with young entrepreneurs. I do some scheduled talks, once a year at the college to talk about entrepreneurship. And I think it's much more difficult today for young entrepreneurs.
Okay.
And I think there should be lots of efforts made to to help pave the road to make it, because when you take a look at what entrepreneurs do, they solve problems, and today there's lots of challenges.
Mm-hmm.
We need bright minds that are going to be persevering to help work on some of these problems.
Right. Because our series is about older adults who should stay active or get engaged in something that they've been really interested in and thinking about doing, what would you say as words of encouragement for an older adult who has had that kernel of an idea and they're thinking about doing it, but maybe they think that they're too senior to do it? What kind of words of wisdom or words of advice would you give an older adult who is thinking of starting their own small business?
Well, I would say, just do it is easy to say, but it just has its own motivation. Mm-hmm. We're with older gentlemen or women, and they were talking about ideas, etc., and it gets so exciting, and then it gets so much more exciting when they start working on the idea and bringing it along. Mm-hmm. So, and it's also a great way of contributing. You're never too old to contribute to the goodness of the way we live in the Okanagan.
Right. So, are there groups in the Okanagan that can help a senior perhaps develop their idea a little more thoroughly, to flesh it out? To sort of be their champion their cause, or to suss ideas out, be a sounding board, and maybe help them get the process started? Are there any organizations or enterprises you can think of that might be helpful?
Well, I wish there were. There's a number of organizations that are geared, to the young entrepreneurs, etc., and certainly to the high-tech elements. Mm-hmm. But I don't know of anyone that's particularly placed at seniors. I think that's a great idea.
Okay, maybe it's an idea for another business for you. Well, Jim, I'd like to close by saying thank you so much for joining me for tea today and telling me about how you stay passionate and driven to be so successful with all of your businesses. I can't imagine how you do it, but I really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Great. Hi, we're here today visiting with Fran Houston of Fran's Moving Solutions. Fran, tell me a little bit about your business. What exactly is Fran's Moving Solutions? Do you have a moving truck?
No, we don't have a moving truck. We manage the whole move, right from the beginning of their decision to move. We help them to declutter their stuff. We take time, a couple hours here, a couple hours there, so it's not all rushed in the dust, and slowly get them ready for the move. And then we manage the whole thing for them, hire the movers, You know, we
Okay.
give them a choice sometimes if they want to, of different quotes, and they choose which. They're the boss, but we're just managing for them.
It's got to be a difficult thing for a senior or a senior couple to decide on which possessions that they want to take with them to their
Exactly.
new place.
Yeah.
So do you help with that?
That's part of the emotional support we give them. Like we'll go, say they have, 5 vases. Well, which one is your favorite? Which one do you use the most?
Right.
Do you really need to take them all? Well,
Right.
if they say yes, we pack them, but we
Right.
try to, help them, encourage them to downsize because they're usually going to a smaller place.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just a matter of encouraging slowly, but not rushing them, so that maybe we'll spend, 2 hours on a closet together or china cabinet, which is very big thing for them because they have to
Right.
give up some of their
Treasures.
treasures. But we always say take your very favorite things.
Right.
And then we
okay.
pack up what's going with them, and we
Okay.
arrange for the charity people to take what's going and family.
Okay. Mhm.
Sometimes we end up shipping things to other parts of Canada or the States where their family is. And then we have the truck. We're with the movers when they take the stuff over.
Okay.
Then we help them. We have a floor plan already set up, so then we put everything in place exactly where they want it.
Oh, you do. So you help
Yeah.
them unpack, or you unpack.
We unpack for them.
And you put everything
and
where they
put
want it
everything
to
in
go.
place where they already told us.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and then when they come in, there's no boxes. Everything's been done.
So when the couple arrives in their new place,
Yeah, the
it's all nice and
TV's
neat, and
on.
everything is where they want it. Oh,
Yeah, we've
my
got their
gosh.
TV set up, their pictures if they've already told us where they want their pictures,
Mhm.
and the beds are made. So it's just
Oh.
that's the funnest part of my job is watching their face when they walk in. See all
Right.
their things, their favorite things put away in
Right.
place, and they're just so grateful that they don't have to have all that stress.
What helped me when I moved in is to look around and see what she got in, and the way everything was set out. It was just astounding not to walk in here and see boxes everywhere. Things are there and they're all set up, and it just looks like you've been living in the house.
This is definitely not like a regular moving company.
Not at all. No.
So is this called, it's called Fran's Moving Solutions, but
Right.
is this some kind of, this is an extra kind of service that
Well,
you provide?
yes,
Is there
it's
a name for
specialized service, and it's called Senior Move Management.
this? Okay.
And when I first began this,
That makes sense.
I didn't even know that there wasn't a whole national association
Okay.
of senior move managers. I just
Oh.
thought of it as an idea on my own because my own mom and my mother-in-law cleaned out their places and thought, wow, this could be a job. But at that time I was
Okay.
teaching school, and I wasn't thinking of, a job later in life
Mhm.
at the time, but it always is in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
So when I decided, what will I do now after I finished my career, I just thought this would be fun because I love working with seniors and I have a special passion for the job, right, to help them.
So how did you actually get the business off the ground?
Yes, I went through Community Futures.
Oh, Community Futures.
And
yeah,
they
they're a great
helped me because I'd
organization.
never been in business in my whole life. So I didn't have any idea how to go about it. So by taking the course they provide, helped me, line up all the ideas for my business, my marketing, how to just go about doing it properly, so that if I hadn't had that experience of going through Community Futures, I probably wouldn't have made it into my 6th year because
So
I
you
didn't-
started this company 6 years ago.
Right.
And you started it at what age then, if I may ask?
I was 57 or 58.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I just it's gradually growing to a point where people are more aware of that we're
Right.
available to them.
Right. I have seen you at some of the seniors trade shows, etc. I've seen you
right.
there.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I know there's always a big crowd around your table. People want to find out more about your company.
Right. Well, I think a lot of people just think we're a moving company.
Right.
But then when we have time to explain our services, they can choose they don't have to take our whole service. They can choose, oh yes, please come help me declutter, or yes, help me to pack and unpack.
Oh, okay.
So
So do you ever deal with the families of the seniors that are
yes,
moving?
oftentimes I've had calls from the States and all parts of Canada saying, my mom's in Kelowna, but I'm out here in the East and I don't know how, I've only got 3 days to help her.
Right.
So they come in, they fly in, and then we visit with them. So when they leave, they know we're going to finish it for them.
Okay.
And that gives a lot of relief to children,
Right.
adult children that are living far away.
Do adult kids ever struggle with mom and dad's decision to move? Do you ever find yourself in the middle trying to
Sometimes.
mediate somehow?
Sometimes a lot of the daughters will say to me, how come she says yes to you but no to me?
Oh,
Especially when they're trying to make decisions about what to keep and what not to keep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of fun that way. But yes, a lot of children are really grateful they found out about me,
Right.
because it just takes so much stress off them, because usually they're working full time and they just feel like it's just way too much to have to deal with
Oh, sure. It would
to
be.
get their mom or dad ready for their move. So
Well, your background in psychology, I think you took Psychology University.
yes, I did.
That's
take
got to be
some.
helpful when
Yes.
you're dealing with seniors facing downsizing and you know
Right.
their adult children facing the decision to you know help their mom and dad
That's right.
right size, move into different size housing.
Yeah, I
So-
find it comes in handy lots of times when I
bet.
have to just, gently talk to the senior and let them know that it's okay. You know, you can keep what you want to keep, but you want to remember that you can take pictures of treasures. You don't have to take them all.
Right.
Especially if people have a collection, I'll say, why don't you pick out your very favorite part of your collection, and take a picture of the rest. You'll still have the memory, but there's no really room to put in your new place.
These
right?
things, right?
I have told it to so many people. Anybody I hear that is moving, and some of them get in here and stay for a while, you see, then they have to move on to assisted living. And there's been a lot of that just since I moved in here. And then I come right in and say, well, you need some help. And you don't know what help is until you have this lady.
So when you first came up with the idea, oh gosh, I could make a business out of this, how did that make you feel? Were you afraid? Were you invigorated? What were you feeling?
Well, I guess I was a bit nervous because
Okay.
I wasn't sure how to go about it. But I was confident in the fact that it would be something I would enjoy, a passion I have. So I really went after it because I really want to do it. And so that was the big thing. But when I did my research and found out there were other people doing it, that really encouraged me. So I was networking with people all over the States and Canada that were already doing it.
Oh, good for you. And that helped you
Yeah, helped
solidify
me.
your business model a little bit,
Exactly.
did it?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was great.
So what about other seniors who might be thinking of getting into business for themselves? What kind of
Right.
tips would you have for them?
I would say don't give up, don't quit, because
Okay.
I almost did. I was just about ready to finish Community Futures, and I just got this fear came over me like, oh, I can't do this, I'm too old.
Is Community Futures for anyone?
Yes, well, you can, yes, anyone can go in. It's you can pay your own way in.
Okay.
You don't have to, like in my situation, it was unemployment insurance. I was just ending it, and I was able to get some coverage
Okay.
from my unemployment insurance, but you can go in and just pay full price for the course.
Oh,
It's not
gosh.
really expensive, you know,
Okay.
especially if you're starting a business. It's your
Right.
first step, right? So it's
And I
worth
understand
it.
they have a lot of experts there that work in Community Futures that are consultants to them,
That's
and they
right.
bring them on board for
And
different
they-
things that
yeah.
the students of Community Futures have, or the clients of Community Futures
exactly,
have
and
questions.
they have mentors that you can
Okay.
visit even after you're done the course.
And so they've got, Community Futures has courses on, I think, business plan development,
Right.
marketing, bookkeeping, and what else do they have?
It's all kinds of different. A lot of speakers will come in and tell you about their business and how they became successful, and just all the steps that you go through to prepare your business so it's a working business. I think I always remember my biggest help was being told that it takes 3 to 5 years to build your business, not to give up the first couple of years.
Right.
But you almost have to have another part, some type of income coming in.
Oh, sure.
To keep you going for those first few years. And I really was grateful for that advice, because I could have quit thinking, oh man, this isn't working.
Right, I'm doing something wrong. But it was just too early in the startup cycle.
The
Right.
startup, yeah. So it takes time.
Okay. So any other tips to pass on to an older adult who might be thinking about a business idea?
Right.
Where would they go with that to suss it out a little bit?
Exactly. There's lots of good information here in our city, and I know that the resource center, the community resource center, could lead you to different places here in town. And then of course there's for women. There's the Women's Enterprises.
It's Enterprise Society, right?
And Community Futures would you walk in there and ask questions.
Okay.
There's lots of places in our city that will help you to sort of think it through.
And interestingly enough, I'm sure you know this, the Okanagan Valley is known as a quote-unquote hotbed of entrepreneurs.
Right.
And I'm wondering if that isn't because so many people move here thinking they'll get work or they'll retire, but then they realize they want to start a business or need to start a business so that they can support themselves or just feel engaged and fulfilled.
To supplement, the pension plan and
so
things.
there are a lot of business startups here.
Exactly.
Lots more than in the rest of Canada.
It's so fun when you drive through town, you see all these people's cars with their signs on them, and you think, wow, that's a great name they chose. It's fun to see how many people are trying their own business.
So I guess the bottom line here is if an older adult has an idea for a business, that they should suss it out with a knowledgeable organization like, as you say, Women's Enterprise Society or Community Futures. And I know that there's Innovate Okanagan, is that the name of it? Accelerate Okanagan.
Right.
So there's a variety of different groups you can suss your idea out with.
And also to make sure you're finding the right niche, because where there's a need,
make sure there's a need for the business. Don't just start one.
Right. And it's often very interesting how you can figure it out but you have to go by your passion as well. It's got to be something you really enjoy.
Right.
But there's all kinds of ideas out there. Search them out.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great visiting with you today, Fran. I'm so glad you were able to join us today.
Yes, thank you so much.
I wish you the best with your moving business.
Oh, thanks so much.
Okay, take care.